Hello everyone. I decided to do two videos today, so hence I'm dressed the same. So there's another topic that I want to cover that I think is actually very important, and I actually also think it's very relevant to everybody these days. Okay, so we know with everything currently going on in the world, there's a lot of grief, there's a lot of sadness in a lot of our lives from losing people we love. And I think it's a good idea for me to speak a little about dealing with grief. I have 5 points that I want to cover. And I just want to say before I start that, of course, there are many different aspects, many different sides, many different things to consider. But ultimately, we all deal with grief in our own way to deal with a lot of things we go through in life. But I think everything just requires patience. So let that be an extra little tip there. The first point I want to speak about is time. When it comes to time and speaking about time, I know a lot of people can get irritated, they can get frustrated. Often you'll hear things like, but you don't know what I'm going through. How do I sit and wait for days to go by until I can feel I'm okay? The thing is, that's the magic of time. Everything in life, guys, takes time. To appreciate things, we need to actually take the time to learn about them. To experience things, we need to take the time to actually realize what's going on around us. So when it comes to dealing with grief and time, what I wanted to say is that things will get better. Believe me or not, I promise you things will get better. There's a saying, I'm not sure if I've mentioned it before, but it always comes to mind for such things. The saying is, everything will be okay in the end. If it's not okay, it's not the end. And a lot of the time, it's in our nature to be impatient. But it really does take time and patience. Those two things can actually go hand in hand. Allow yourself the time it takes to get through this and be patient with yourself in order for that to happen. The second point I'm going to speak about is acceptance, what it really means. I've heard it from a few of my loved ones when we've lost someone in the family who we all have a lot of love for. I just can't accept that they're not here anymore. So I think there's actually a misconception about what it means to have acceptance of someone not being with us anymore. This may be going into the spiritual side of things a bit much, but try and keep up with me. They never really leave us, and that is the honest truth, everyone. They never leave us. For me, okay, I always feel bad these days because if we lose someone we love or someone we know, I don't cry, and it feels odd for me because crying is how we express something like grief. And I cannot cry, and that's because spiritually I'm so aware of things that I see it this way, okay? And if you think about it, it's true. When they're gone, they're actually with us in ways that they never could have been when they were with us physically. Sorry, our dog is barking. Okay, I am really sorry. If you do hear the dogs barking, I apologize. Please don't be too irritated with it. So back to what I was talking about. By the way, if I'm out of breath, it's because I just ran to see why we had some barking. Anyway, about acceptance. I forgot the point that I was gonna make. If you change the way you look at accepting the loss of someone, from they're gone, they're not with me anymore, how do I accept that, to they may not be with me physically, but they are spiritually. They are here. I may not see them. I may not be able to touch them. I may not be able to hug them or kiss them or just listen to them talking. They may not be there to give me advice when I need it or just be there, but they are with me spiritually. They are with me in my heart. They're with me in my mind. It's a mindset thing, guys. Really, it is a mindset thing. And I promise you, it is true. Being a spiritual person myself, I'm very, very, very aware of the spirits, the spiritual side of things, souls. So you can trust me. You don't have to, but you can. I really think it's mainly from what it really means to accept. That is what it really means to accept in a way that will actually be helpful, because no one can ever really accept that this person is not with me. How do I go on without them? You cannot, because we live in a physical world, but we all have a spiritual side to us, and it's just about allowing yourself to keep that in mind. Third point is we all will need, through any hard time, we will need something to focus on. So what do I mean by this? Okay. What it boils down to is, if you're going to be sitting and thinking about nothing else except this person who's no longer with me, you will never get over that grief, or at least not as soon as you need to, not as soon as you would like to, not as soon as it's healthy for you to. So you need something to focus on. You need something to keep your mind occupied. You need to be having something or someone to really take your mind off of death and actually being with what is around you. And that actually leads to my next point, which is appreciating the life around you. So what I mean by that is, whether it's your dog or your cat, whether it's your children or your grandchildren, your nieces, your nephews, somebody, some living thing, and it's not hard. Everyone, it is not hard to see life around you. There is life around us all the time. And the previous point and this one kind of go hand in hand. If you have something to focus on that is a living being or a living thing, it also serves to help you realize and come to terms with the loss, and at the same time being aware and being grateful for those who are still around you. And it helps you appreciate the fact that you are never alone. And just remember that you are never, ever alone. The last point is reaching out. I'm just going to say it straight up, guys. It helps you, zilch, to suffer alone, to think no one's gonna listen to me, no one's here for me, no one's gonna talk to me, no one wants to hear me talk about it, I'm just gonna be a burden to somebody, no one wants to really listen to me, no one wants to have to deal with me crying. No, don't do that. Listen, we are a social species. We require time, conversation, love, affection from other people. It is part of our makeup as human beings. No one is going to think, this person really, I can't deal with them. If I speak to them, they're going to be crying over the person who they no longer have. Or sometimes with grief, it can even be an animal. You can have a pet that you were really close to. Dealing with grief is the title here, and it really covers grief in the long, it covers grief on the entire spectrum, because we don't grieve just over people. We grieve over pets. We grieve over a car accident that leaves us without our beautiful car. You know, it's just something. Grief is part of life, and the sooner we will be able to find a way to cope and deal with it, the easier and better it will be for us in the future. So getting back to my original point, reaching out. If there is someone who makes you feel like you are being a burden to them, just don't associate with them. Because there are people, there will be people, or even if you feel you have no one, you have animals. Animals are known for their compassion. I've had days where I'm sad about something and I go outside and I cry, just to get that emotion out, just to express it so that it's not sitting inside. And my dog will literally, if I'm sitting down, she's a border collie, she will literally put her paws on my lap and she will lick the tears off of my face. Guys, it may seem weird to some people who aren't animal people, but animals are so compassionate. They really do help in the healing process. So that can be a second extra tip here, guys, okay? Reaching out can really be a big topic in itself, because there's so many different ways that you can do it. It doesn't have to be a person, you know. It doesn't even have to be an animal. There are so many helplines as well. If you really feel the need to speak to someone who doesn't know you or is not associated with you at all, there are helplines. Guys, reach out. Do not be afraid to reach out if you need help. And that goes for anything in life, really speaking. Something I heard often from someone very close to me is that if you don't ask, no one is going to give. And I believe that is a verse in the Bible. There is a verse in the Bible that is on similar lines, that if you don't ask, you will not receive. And again, that links with spirituality so much itself. So don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to ask. Don't be ashamed, because if you need someone, then you need someone. If you need something, then you need something. That is it for this video. Again, I will just repeat that there are so many different ways that you can deal with grief. There's so many different things that I can think of. But for the sake of keeping this a relatively short video, I will leave it at that. I hope this was helpful, and I would like to hear some feedback, so please feel free to leave me a comment down below. Please do like and subscribe and hit the bell notification. That way you can be notified whenever I have a new video out. Thank you guys so much again. Much love from me to you. Okay, bye. Mwah.